So I was just wondering today uh, what it means to create something, right? So the ultimate creation, most people would probably agree, is a man and a woman coming together or whatever, creating a child. And I find it interesting that uh, you say you create something, and yet many children are not intentionally created, although I guess they are. Uh, Even if it wasn't the ultimate objective, the intention was to fulfill a desire. And we know what happens when you fulfill certain desires, or what can happen. Um, but the act of sacred, as some people would say, life, generation, or creation, at least between humans, uh, you there's the act, there's the gestation, there's the nurturing, and then there's the release into the world. Because the womb itself is almost like a separate dimension, at least for the child. It's a sacred space. It's set apart from the world, as they would say. Yet it's in the world. Still has influences from the world. That's why they say you should make sure your child is, or the mother of your child. Isn't that interesting? What's the difference? The environment around such container and such containee should be as pleasant as possible. You should play high vibrational music and whatever influences um, be upon that child and that mother, that container, are very important to the development in the later stages. And so, what does it really mean to create something? Like I said, the deed is done. That's a form of creation. And yet, the gestation, which happens of no conscious will of the mother and not the father, is also another stage, another form of creation. The act of the release of the birthing is another stage or form of creation. And yet, you don't just plop it out and then be done with it. There's yet another stage, which is the nurturing. U.G. Krishnamurti used to say, um, we really don't know 444 if we're alive or dead. We really don't know. don't know. I guess you could apply this to other creations as well. If you know anything about the creative process, as they would call it. Sometimes things happen accidentally, sometimes they're intentional. Sometimes when you're intentional about something, um, and it doesn't work, and you get frustrated, and even maybe when you quote unquote give up, that itself is a form of creation. Or how do you know when something is fully resolved, as my art teacher used to say? When something is done, when you feel like it's done, in the art world, you call it fully resolved. Like a disagreement. When you are done disagreeing, you would say the matter is fully resolved. So creation in and of itself is almost like this warring process, you know, and all is fair in love and war. That's what they say, right? But if you seek then to alleviate this need to resolve things, um, as the song says, if you choose not to decide, you have still made a choice. So, who is creating, really? And then people talk about these days being in alignment, being aligned with your purpose. But who decides your purpose? Was there a script written before you even were birthed into this place? Some people say there is. Some people say you and whatever your concept of God is uh, work together. But as we know, things do not always go as planned. And so people say you can change. And why wouldn't that be the case if it was needed, if things didn't go as planned? sometimes I wonder if all of it is an illusion, as if potentially the highest determining factor in what you should consider as your guidance moving forward within this time is your inherent ability to desire certain outcomes or experiences. And so some people say you should follow your path of highest excitement. Pretty sure that came from that Bashar guy. If you think about it, when you're a kid, you may have things you think about doing in the future. You may have certain uh, goals for your life, whether you were told that you needed to or not. But really, if you really think about it, if you can go back, you're really just focused in the moment. What was fun? What did you enjoy doing? Who did you want to hang out with? What kind of games did you want to play? You gotta wonder, because when you grow into yourself, your full expression, you know more. And fun is important, but you realize there are other things going on that may require your attention. That doesn't mean you give up this desire to have fun, though. It all comes back to responsibility, I think. What are you responsible for? Are you responsible for your own life? Are you responsible for your environment and the way it's set up? Are you responsible for things you seemingly can't control? Some people spend their entire lives seeking to control as much as they can. And then there's the feeling versus the thinking. And sometimes they get muddled up. You gotta wonder then, what is feeling? What is what we call thinking? Because if you really pay attention, the thoughts just come and go. The feelings, they'll come and go. But they're almost something deeper. Like the thoughts are just the surface of the water. And the feelings are the currents that run under. The surface can warp and change. And over time, the feelings can too. If you pay attention long enough, you start to wonder, who are you exactly? If every